don't know if you guys. I'll tell you the real quick story. That I had a role in Steve going to San Francisco. I may have shared this with Blaine, and Steve will remember the story as it happens, as it rolls out. Steve is, he's in Tampa, and my rookie year. We're playing. I think it may have been Steve's second year there after he left the USFL. But we're playing the last game of the season in St. Louis, and both teams are like 3-12 going into that last game. You remember this, Steve?
Yeah, you set an NFL record that day. I watched you because we were both whoever lost
was going to get the first pick.
Choice. And so our team wouldn't you returned like 4 punts for touchdowns. Nobody would tackle because we had to lose. And I set an NFL record that day. You're right, I forgot about that. Amazing that day.
I returned 2 punts for touchdowns in the second quarter, and we win 21-17. And Steve had, all Steve had was James Wilder, maybe probably one of the top 3 backs in the NFL.
Yes.
There was no one else on that team. So because we won, people in the organization were so mad that we won that game because they wanted the first pick.
They won it off of your kicks. I know where you're going. If you hadn't returned those kicks, we would have won, and then you would have the first pick, and I would have not gotten out of Tampa because they wouldn't have taken Vinny Testaverde because Ray Perkins hated lefties and hated southpaws, and I wouldn't have gotten to San Francisco. I do owe you my life. I owe you my life. I forgot about that. I do owe you everything. Oh, my gosh.
Steve and I have had
life. I forgot about that.
When Steve writes his next book, he'll include
yes.
Sikahema doesn't return 2 punts for touchdowns. And Steve, here's what happened to me. It was the last game of the season, and the next day was a Monday. We voted on the Pro Bowl because of those 2 punt returns. I get to go to the Pro Bowl, and my agent had negotiated. They call them escalator clauses, and if you reach certain things, that they would tear up your contract. And one of them that he put in was if I go to the Pro Bowl as a rookie, they tear up my contract and would pay me whoever was making the most.
So we made you rich, and you made me.
You guys are best friends.
Sikahema did it for
me. All the way back. I'm glad we were able in 2023.
But Vi told me this story before. I didn't realize that Steve didn't even know this story, Vi. I can't even believe Steve didn't know it.
I known it deep down.
He was there. He knows the story
all together because we had to lose to get that pick, and that we lost. And he made it happen. And I think the Cardinals were trying to lose too. It was amazing. The line of scrimmage was like no one really moved. And then kind of like fell down because
nobody's covering punts.
Nobody had to. And Vi was the ones like, hey, you know what? Too bad. I'm going for the Pro Bowl.
Nobody was trying. Nobody was trying. But I'm the 53rd man on the roster, on the 53-man roster. I'm trying to get a job the next year, so I'm the only one going 110%.
That is awesome.
Hey,